Hi, Mari Plank, author of Stop Dancing with the Enemy, life coach and counselor. I have a question to ask you. Do you like dance? I love watching dance competitions and dance shows. Do you like to dance? Do you have a favorite dance partner? If I were to ask you who are you dancing with through your life, who would you say? God? Or do I dare say even the devil? It's a difference between life and freedom and pain and torment. This book will help you determine who you're dancing with. Have you ever felt helpless, powerless, ineffective, vulnerable, maybe thinking you have no voice, you have no say, I have no choices? If that's true, then you're probably dancing the dance of powerlessness. Why did I write this book? To help my clients further than one-to-one counseling. I was in so much pain, depression, and darkness. I took my healing, my pain, struggles, lessons learned, and my journey to a new life. These are building blocks to building a strong emotional, spiritual, and life foundation. It opened doors to dream, find courage and purpose, be happy, content, peaceful, and walk in a new freedom, healing, wholeness in life. The 4 common struggles my clients and I were experiencing were insecurity, which is a feeling of uncertainty, lack of confidence, or anxiety about yourself. You're full of doubts. You feel like everyone is judging you or condemning you. Powerlessness is a feeling of helplessness, being ineffective, defenseless. I have no choices. I am a victim. I am not seen, heard, or understood. I am stuck, helpless, or defenseless. Mistaken identity is a feeling that I'm not loved, I don't belong, I have no value. Shame is a feeling that I am bad, there's something wrong with me, and there's awareness that you are flawed, dirty, or unclean, and it comes from fear of unworthiness or being unlovable. Let's take a look at Dance of Power, Overcoming Powerlessness. I understand powerlessness. As a victim of domestic violence, I was powerless for quite a while. I was defenseless against the physical and emotional abuse from my husband, and my solution was to leave with my kids throughout our 5-year marriage. Usually, the abuse would occur when he was doing drugs, but sometimes out of the blue an assault would occur. I was always on edge, trying to keep peace and stay out of his way. Abusers take away support systems and finances and continually wear one down with criticism, shame, and guilt, which only reinforces victim mentality. My self-esteem was already pretty low, and those things continued to diminish it away. I felt powerless for a long time. I'd given my power to my ex-husband. I'd given it to my circumstances. I'd given my power to the enemy whose only plan was to steal, kill, and destroy, according to John 10:10. What takes away our power? Insecurity and low self-esteem. One of the common elements I have seen in myself and others is a pervasive sense of insecurity. Often we attract others who take advantage of our vulnerability. They manipulate, control, and use emotional blackmail or other means to keep us powerless. Insecurity and low self-esteem. The deceiver, Satan, the devil, tells us our voice and need for respect and safety is invalid. Therefore, we have no right to ask for these things, especially in relationships. What takes away our power? Fear. Fear keeps us victims, immobilized, and stuck. The opposite of fear is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the belief that something is more important. What takes away our power? Giving another person power over you. When I allow others to disrespect my person, boundaries, safety, or opinions, I'm giving them power and control. Giving another person power over you. I start to disappear and become invisible. What is left is their version of who I should be. This version always benefits them and diminishes me. A healthy relationship is always mutually beneficial to all parties. What takes away our power? Blaming others and not taking responsibility for our actions. I was an expert at blaming my abusive husband for all of our problems. I was a victim and he was the abuser. It made sense that it was entirely his fault. My dad told me he was sick of hearing my excuses for my behavior. Wow, what a shocker. It was at that point I realized that it was time for no more excuses, blaming everyone else for my problems. The buck stops here. My healing continued when I took a good look at what I was doing and took responsibility for my actions. No more excuses. What takes away our power? Not making choices. Making a small one, like reading a book on healing, is a step in the right direction. The path to healing, deliverance, and freedom begins with a step. One of my favorite verses helps me is Deuteronomy 30:19, and it says, I call heaven and earth as witnesses today against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursings. Therefore choose life, both you and your descendants may live. Deuteronomy 30:19. A powerful person isn't someone with big muscles, military strength, or aggression. It is the power to make choices, have needs met, have an opinion, disagree, be wrong or right. What does Dance of Power look like? The more I understood the power of God's love in my life and His acceptance, the more powerful I became. Why? The roots of insecurity and fear were getting healed. My confidence grew. I was assured of God's love. I became more confident in my right to have my own opinion and thoughts and to be the person God desires for me to become. I became confident in who God was making me to be and how He saw me. What does Dance of Power look like? As my confidence grew in the Lord, so did my ability to make choices. It started out with small ones and it grew bigger. Eventually, over a course of time, through a series of choices, I was able to leave my abusive husband and marriage. God was helping me to set boundaries by learning to say no to victimization, codependency, helplessness, and powerlessness. No was my new power word. I would say no to everything. God lovingly told me I should learn maybe. It wasn't saying maybe to powerlessness, but becoming a balanced in my newfound ability to set boundaries. What does a dance of power look like? The power to choose, the power to believe the beloved instead of the deceiver, the power to pursue wholeness, the power to pursue a different path, the power to choose God's truth over the lies, the power to say yes or no, the power to choose joy or love, the power to be strong because of Jesus. Instead of giving you tips and tools, I'm actually going to share one of my clients' testimony and her journey from powerlessness to power. Michelle's story, not her real name. Michelle and Alex are born-again believers, having served as leaders in their church, and have 2 wonderful children. Michelle is beautiful, confident, and full of life. Her 15-year marriage has been marked with emotional abuse and reduced her to feeling powerless, worn down, depressed, stuck, and bulldozed. Alex's continual unwillingness to compromise, interpret Michelle's feelings, and project blame is emotional abuse. They play out the abuse cycle over and over again. Things seem okay for a season, but true to the nature of an abusive relationship, the destructive cycle continues. Michelle and I have conversations throughout her marriage. She was given suggestions to improve communication, but more importantly, she needed to regain her power. For 15 years, she had felt helpless, afraid, and stuck. Once again, she reached to a point where divorce seemed like the only way out. Michelle knew she had to do things differently if she wanted different results. She identified areas which contributed to the powerlessness and which she would do differently. Here are the 7 things Michelle did to regain her power. Number 1, gain financial independence from Alex. Her dream was to go back to school and get a degree, which would make her more financially independent. Historically, whenever she tried to pursue an education, Alex would tell her she needed to wait. Now she is pursuing her education and has found a way to pay for it without his help. Number 2, make plans for change. Now Michelle sets a course of action towards her goals and is implementing them one step at a time. Number 3, stop allowing fear of the unknown to mobilize her. Now Michelle combats her fear of the unknown by getting the necessary information needed for her action steps. The feelings of fear are still there, but she moves through the fear rather than allow them to keep her in the same place. Number 4, recognize her part in the abusive cycle. In the past, they would repeat the abusive cycle. She would get fed up and threaten divorce. Alex would change for a moment and causing Michelle to back down. Number 5, start making choices. Alex's continual bulldozing of Michelle's opinions and feelings stopped her ability to make choices. Now she continues to make more choices about moving forward. Number 6, stopped giving in to Alex's promises of change. Before, she would believe Alex's promises of change and relinquish her need for mutually shared power in the relationship. Now, she has set a clear way to see if Alex's professed changes will be sustained over a period of time. Regardless of whether he changes or not, she's taken her power back and moving forward. And number 7, set clear boundaries. Michelle has set clear boundaries with Alex of what she's willing and not willing to do. His choices will determine her choices. Michelle states she's feeling more empowered, stronger, and free. The vibrant, confident woman is coming back from powerlessness. She still encounters fear and some of the old feelings, but is not allowing them to be her motivation. If Michelle can overcome a toxic relationship, you can too. Who are you dancing with?
Precious and the deceiver begin the
Precious
dance.
and the deceiver begin the dance.
Each link in the weighted chains are
link
inscribed
in
with
the weighted chains
fear.
are inscribed with fear.
It permeates her very soul
It
and heart.
permeates her very soul and heart.
The darkness produced by the fear is
The
heightened
darkness produced
by anxiety and worry.
is heightened by anxiety and worry.
From head to toe, chains begin to wrap
From
around
head to
her,
toe,
immobilizing
chains begin to
her
wrap
every
around
step.
her, immobilizing her every step.
She has no voice,
She
and the
has
only choice
no voice,
is to follow
and
his
the only
every
choice
whim and will.
is to follow his every whim.
Every small ember of hope, healing
Every
or
small
deliverance,
ember of
is
hope,
overcome
healing
by
or
staggering
is
darkness.
overcome by staggering darkness.
Helpless,
Helpless,
hopeless,
hopeless,
powerless.
powerless.
Precious and the beloved begin to dance. Precious and the beloved begin to dance. She still feels chains immobilizing every step. At first, she still feels chains immobilizing every step. Fear still grips her heart. Fear still grips her heart. Precious begins to sing with the beloved. Freedom to choose. Precious begins to sing with the beloved. Freedom from powerlessness. Freedom to choose. Freedom from prison. Freedom from powerlessness. Freedom to receive belief. Freedom from prison. In the beloved. Freedom to receive and believe. As they continue, she is accepted. She hears his lyrics in the beloved. Love, grace and strength. As beautiful as they continue to dance, she hears his lyrics of love.
Do you desire to be limitless, free from fears? Do you want assurance that you are unconditionally loved and accepted by God? Know your worth and value? Live from freedom and courage? Do you desire to be set free from the past? Possess self-confidence? Freedom from shame and guilt? Freedom from emotional imprisonment? Have hope? Have you answered yes to any of these previous questions? Then Stop Dancing with the Enemy is for you. It's available on Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. I'm going to be here every weekday at the Festival of Storytellers around the same time. Join me as I share more ways to stop dancing with the enemy. You don't want to miss the next session.